I think, hey guys. So I logged on before I was ready. So just bear with me for a second. I'll wait for some of you. While I'm doing this, I'll let you guys come into the room, which is funny. There we go, overlays. I'm like, I need to put my info up. That's what I need. That's what I'm missing there. There we go. There we go. And that's what we needed. We needed Ask Fernie, and then we needed my website right here. That's what I was waiting for. Hey, Joanne, welcome to the room. All right, so I'm just finishing up my little thing here, guys. So bear with me. Hi, hello, hey everybody, welcome. Hello. All right, so it's darker here, so I have my artificial light on, so that's what's going on here, guys. All right, so you are totally coming into the room. Cool, excellent. All right, so hey, thanks for joining me today. It's that time of the week where I do free readings for you guys. So you guys can ask me any of your questions. So your questions, make sure that they're specific. No general questions like, what do you see? Well, I can see a lot of things. What are you talking about? So you got to be specific. Make sure that if you are asking about someone else, or if you're asking about your significant other, make sure you're mindful in the way that you ask it because they may see your question because your comments are public. I know. Big surprise, right? And also, you can ask about anything. You can ask about your life. You can ask about your finances, your career. You can ask about family members, relationship. You can ask about a specific loved one in spirit and see if I can connect with them and get you something that is a message for you. So feel free to post your questions in the comment section below. Of course, like I said, make sure that you are aware that your comments are public. So FYI, to thank me for trying to get to some of you guys and thank me for answering your questions, please like and share this video feed. That way other people can have the opportunity to ask me questions as well. And so, all right, so I'm going to actually start answering some of your questions. So again, post your questions in the comment section below. And FYI, if you want a reading with me, a one-on-one reading with me, and you don't want to wait for me to ask you, and I'm not going to be able to answer all of your questions, but if you want a one-on-one with me, my information is in the box as well. You have my website, www.fernandomoron.com. And then also, guys, follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. I'm on all of those places. I was on Google Plus, but everybody's Google Plus is going away. So, but you can follow me there, and all of those links are also incorporated or in this video description as well. So feel free to follow me on there as well because I'm going to start doing some of these over on Instagram as well. So you don't want to miss those either. Okay. So let's start with some of your first questions, and I'll try to get to as many of you as possible. Let's see. Thomas, you can ask me whatever you want to ask me. Just make sure it's specific. And I'll try to see if I can answer it for you. Hey, Sarah, I can totally try to break down your dream for me, but you're going to have to give me like some highlights about your dream or tell me what actually happened in your dream because I don't know what your dream's about. So you have to describe your dream or share it with me, and then I'll be able to probably break it down for you so you can get some more clarity there. Okay? It's from Sylvia. Sylvia has a question. Hello, great seeing you. I would love to know, are there any messages from my husband? Yeah, so a couple of things. One is your husband is jingling. I don't know if he's jingling keys or he's jingling like I don't think it's a bracelet. I think it's keys. He's jingling keys. So I don't know if you still have an old pair of keys that were his, or if something recently happened that was in regards to keys because he's jingling keys for me. So he's acknowledging something about the keys, whether you misplaced them and you couldn't find them, or his keys were misplaced and they were somewhere else they shouldn't be. But he's talking about the keys. So he's making that jingling sound for me. He also keeps pointing to, got it. Got it. He says the way he makes me feel about his situation or what happened, he makes me feel like his whole body became compromised. Or even though this might have started in one place, it kind of became compromised and it started to affect the other systems and his body couldn't keep up with what was going on. So he's making me feel that way. He's also acknowledging that his blood was somehow impactful, or his blood somehow affected his system as well. So something went wrong in his blood, but also it may have started in one area and may have went into other areas as well. But he's acknowledging that, but he's jingling these keys, so he wants to let you know that. He also does send you birds, so you might see cardinals or you might see hummingbirds, but he's acknowledging birds. Specifically, I don't really think so much as birds that is feathers because he's showing me feathers. So you might find feathers on the ground in weird places, or find feathers like on your couch, which is an odd place to find feathers, but he's showing me that. So that would be a sign from him to let you know he's around you, okay? Guys, and if you understand my messages, everybody, if I answer your question, feel free to post in the comment section and let everybody know if you understood it or if you didn't, or you still have to look and ask people about that, okay? Because people like to know like what happened. So just FYI, even if I'm wrong, it's okay. Like I'm not gonna kill you guys for being wrong. I'm wrong sometimes. So just FYI. Okay. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Um, when I'm going to get pregnant. Renee has a question. She says, "Can you please tell me when I'm going to get pregnant?" Yeah, there's two opportunities for pregnancy coming up for you. I think one of them is coming up towards the end of April. It may not be a like complete pregnancy. It might be like a false positive, but one comes up in April, and then I see it again in June. So April and then June, you've got two opportunities where you might get pregnant. Okay, so keep going, keep trying, and I hope that you will see that happen soon. Hmm. Okay, here's one from Kelly. Do you see my husband around me or our children? He's been gone a little over a year now. Yeah, so the first thing, one thing he wants to say is he's apologizing for the timing of his passing, which usually indicates that they either passed around another significant date or holiday or someone's birthday. So he's apologizing about the time frame of his passing. He also is taking some responsibility for his own passing. Now, when he says responsibility, that doesn't mean like he went and committed suicide or anything like that. What I'm thinking he means is that he put himself in harm's way, who may have put himself in this situation that may have brought about his passing. So he's just kind of wanting to make himself responsible for that. He is acknowledging that. He is saying, I'm sorry. So he's acknowledging that, like either he's sorry that he put himself in that situation, or he's sorry that he didn't pay attention, but he's acknowledging like kind of putting himself in that situation. He is saying Happy Valentine's Day, so he's acknowledging Happy Valentine's Day. He also keeps acknowledging the first, so I don't know if he's referencing the first of a month, like January 1st, February 1st, March 1st, April 1st, or he's acknowledging January being the first month. So he might be referencing that, but he's acknowledging that. Also, he keeps doing this. So either there's a shirt that either was made on his behalf, or there's something about honoring or remembering him based off of a shirt, because he keeps doing this, acknowledging there's something about a shirt with him. Okay, but he is around you guys, and he wants to let you know that he loves you and that he's with you. But again, he was apologizing for his passing and what happened there. So he's giving me that feeling. Okay. Hey Maria, what happens to the soul? Where does it go? Maria, this is such a complicated answer. There's no way I'm going to have enough time to explain it. However, tune in tomorrow because my next podcast is going to come up tomorrow. It'll show up tomorrow. So if you're not following my podcast, you might want to start following my podcast because I talk about a lot of different things on those. But I'm actually going to spend my next podcast. I saw your question somewhere else, so you inspired me to create a podcast. My next episode to dedicate it about like what happens on the other side and what happens when people pass away, etc. Because people have different ideas for what exactly happens and what it looks like and what the experience is. So I'm going to break it down for everybody because it's so complicated and there's so many layers of understanding to that, and I want to be able to give you guys as much clarity and information as possible because it took me years and years to understand this. So I'm going to actually talk about that for my entire podcast on my next podcast that rolls out tomorrow. So just keep an eye out for that, okay? Um, Okay, Wendy. Any messages? My sister who passed away last June, is she with me? So many unanswered questions. Thank you. Yeah. What's interesting about this, first of all, there's two things about this. One is, and I'm interested that you brought that up. So she is making me feel like either she knew some things beforehand or she was keeping some things to herself, meaning that she may not have been sharing everything that was happening with her, or she may not have been telling people everything that she was going through at that time, because I feel like there's several different things that were happening before everybody knew, the situation. So I think there was a lot more there than she may have expressed or shared with people. She also keeps acknowledging, she gives me a sense of having trouble catching my breath or breathing, which means to me that either there wasn't enough oxygen, she didn't have enough oxygen in her system, or maybe there was a loss of oxygen to her brain, because she keeps making me feel that way as well. I also keep feeling like her body wasn't in the right place or wasn't in the right situation when this happened. For example, like either there was something affecting her system, and I'm not talking about like disease. I mean, there may have been something things that she was dealing with health wise, but I feel like this was kind of weird because, like, let's say here's an example. Let's say somebody has cancer, right? And then their body, it starts to spread, it goes into the lymphatic system where it starts to affect all the other systems. That's one like situation as far as health is concerned. But let's say someone has cancer, but what they pass from is not really so much linked to that. So whether she had issues, health issues or not, I feel like what she passed from or what caused her passing was a little bit different or was just kind of a unique situation in that way. But I do feel a lot of it has to do with oxygen to the brain, and I also feel that the the way her system was interacting with itself was not typical or not normal. But I also feel there were things leading up to her passing that she either wasn't mentioning or wasn't expressing or talking to people about. So she may have withheld some things, or she may not have been sharing everything that she was going through. So there's a lot of different different layers to her circumstances or to her situation. She does, however, take some responsibility for her passing, meaning that she could have either done something different or she could have dealt with it differently because she's acknowledging that she partially contributed to this getting the way to get to this situation getting to this point. So that's the way she acknowledges with that. With that being said, she is not pointing the finger to anyone around her, which means if anybody questions or anybody wonders if people around her had something to do with this, the way she makes me feel is like she's not wanting to blame anybody or wanting to make anybody else responsible for herself. She's almost just like, let's just focus on me. Let's focus on me. So that's the way she comes across in that way. She's okay. She's at peace. And honestly, she's not in the same either headspace or not in the same place energetically as she was before she passed. So she's actually in a really good place now. So she's okay, but she wants to let you know that she's at peace and not to worry about her. But I agree, there are a lot of weird things there with her situation and how things kind of progress, because I feel like this was not necessarily expected or people didn't plan for this to happen this way. This kind of just happened and then that was it. Okay. Poppy's so funny. She's like, "What do you see for my career?" That's one question. And finances, that's two questions. And I just got married. So tell me if my marriage is going to work out. That's three questions, right? I think your marriage is fine. I think it'll work out. I do think that you guys need to get back to reality about some of the things in your relationship. So towards the end of this year, you might get a good whiff of marriage life. And you might need to work on better communication at the end of this year, but I think you'll be fine. Honestly, as far as career is concerned, I think the next 2 years you're going to feel a little stagnant because I think you're going to expect momentum or you're going to expect growth that may not actually happen in the way that you would prefer or like. And so I think the next 2 years are going to feel kind of weird. By the end of next year, I think you're going to make some choices and decisions and start to take things either to the next level or in a different direction altogether. So I do think there are going to be some changes there for you that you weren't not necessarily expecting or anticipating. I also feel that any kind of like collaboration or working with a team or partnership like energy when it comes to work and career, I feel like that's going to start to either change as well or come to its conclusion by the end of next year. So there's a lot that may be changing there for you in the next year and a half to 2 years or so. Once you make those changes, I actually think you'll be fine, but I think that the next 2 years are going to feel a little stagnant and like you're not seeing the kind of growth you want or the opportunities that you're wanting to see there. So you might need to work on a few things there, okay? All right, let's see. Okay, Thomas is. We recently had a terrible tragedy. Will the ones we lost get justice? So Thomas, it's kind of complicated. It's not as simple as that. Without knowing the exact circumstances or the exact situation, here's what I will say. What I'm feeling about this. My feeling here is that the way this was handled. And I don't want to badmouth law officials or officers because I think officers do a tremendous job and they're under so much pressure and they don't have as much resources as they need or manpower. But I think the way that this was handled or way that it was dealt wasn't up to snuff, meaning that maybe it needed to be handled differently, or there are some things that the way this was handled or processes that should have taken place did not take place. And because of that, I feel like this is going to become a bit more complicated. And I also feel this is something that may drag on for some time. Here's what I will say: whoever this is directly affecting may need to reach out for additional support or additional help, either from from the investigators involved or from the people that have been dealing with the situation, because I feel like there's more there than is being understood at this moment. And I think it's going to take some time to sift through some of that and get some more details or get some more information. I also feel that follow the money. That's I for some reason want to say that, follow the money, follow the money. So I feel like however the money situation was handled, however the financial situation around this was handled leading up to, may somehow give an indicator of some things that are not currently understood. And like I said, without knowing the exact situation, I can't really tell you how I even understand that, but I just feel that there's something about the finances or the money situation around this that might give some clarity there as well. But I think this is going to be something that drags out a little bit, and I think that it's going to take about 8 months before you really start to see some changes or movement on this. Okay. Um, Kelly's like, can you see who is around me? Like my dad. Is my dad around me? That's what you're asking me, right, Kelly? And what is he trying to tell you? So there's actually three males around you. Two of them are connected to you family-wise, and then one of them doesn't feel to be related to you. So this might be like a friend, or it could be related. No, I don't think it's related. So it's be like a friend, a brother-in-law, something like that. They're on that level. But then there's two others as well that are connected to you or are related to you. What I think your father's trying to tell you is I think he's trying to tell you whatever disharmony there may be in the family or whatever conflicts or challenges people are having with each other or understanding each other, he may just want to bring peace to that. So he may just be trying to bring some clarity and bring peace to that situation, but he's also wanting to tell you that he's proud of you as well. So there's a couple of things that he's wanting to share with you. One of the guys definitely is a smoker because I'm smelling smoke, and that's my indicator that one of them was a smoker or had some smoke or lung related issues or challenges because I'm smelling that with one of the guys. I also keep seeing this can of beer. So either there was a well-known beer that he liked, or someone toasted him, or there's something about drinking his beer or drinking his drink that he's referencing because he keeps making this symbol for like a beer can or for a can of drink. So he's acknowledging that and being like this. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's actually a picture with him with the thing in his hand and he's just sitting there enjoying himself. So just FYI. But he's okay, but he's wanting to tell you those two things. He's that whatever disharmony or whatever issues are going on between people in the family, they need to just kind of sort it out. But also, he's proud of you and he wants you to know that. Okay. Shirley, will I be meeting a great guy for a long-term relationship this year? Shirley, so there's a couple of things I'm going to say about this before I give you your answer. Okay. First of all, I want you to be honest with yourself about what you really want when it comes to relationships. Because I think what you are desiring or what you're wanting may not necessarily be realistic or practical. And what I mean by that is sometimes you might be paying attention to little things too much, or it's odd because I know people who are picky when it comes to relationships, but when they actually go out and date people, they just settle. And I almost feel like there's kind of like a conflict there where what you're wanting, what you're expecting may be one thing, but what you're actually doing is another. And you kind of need to bring those two things together so that way you're staying consistent with what you actually are trying to achieve for yourself. There's two things about that. I do want you to get a little bit more realistic about like what you expect and what you want when it comes to relationships. And what I mean by that is don't pay attention to movies, pay attention to real couples and real relationships. People who have been in relationships for long periods of time, or people who have had successful relationships. And successful relationships don't mean relationships without challenge. Successful relationships mean relationships that have endured despite the challenges. And so look at the people around you and find people who you really appreciate those relationships or you like, and start to see yourself as one of the individuals in that relationships, because you need to start to align yourself with some of that energy. That's one. Two, I do want you to put yourself out there more. And what I mean by that is, like, if you like to go on dates or if you like to spend time around people, go take a cooking class, go do a painting with a twist class, join a fitness group where you can meet other people, a yoga class, go volunteer at a place where you might meet new people. But anything that you can do where you can meet new people, even going on dates. I always tell people, if you're going to use the dating app, then expect to go on 100 dates before you meet someone that's worth the time. And I really seriously mean that, because you need to get to a place mentally where you're okay with having to put that much effort into it just to connect with someone that's worth the time. So Just, get on those apps, ask people out. Don't wait for them to ask you out. Ask people out. Let excuse me, ask people out, let them get to know you, and put yourself out there so that you can go out there, meet people, etc. Thank you guys, I appreciate that. So try that, and that might help you to have more opportunities to meet someone that you would like to connect with that would be good for you. Okay, now with that being said, I do think that in September you're going to meet somebody, though I don't think it's going to be the connection that you're wanting it to be. I think you're going to meet someone in September. I think this person's either not going to be available, or their situation's going to be a bit complicated. You guys might hit it off really well at first, but I think it's going to get complicated for you, and I think it's going to lead to this not off and on again type of thing, more of like, whenever you're in town, let's talk, or whenever you're in town, let's connect. It's something like that. Like, you're not really going to have a lot of time with this person. And that's going to take you into next year. And then what I think is going to happen is around next year, next March or April, there's another opportunity for you to meet someone at that time who might be a better fit for you. And that person you may have already known or have already had an association with in your past. So it doesn't mean it's an ex, but it means that it's somebody you might have already met prior. But that person pops up around next year, April or May. March or April, I'm sorry. But this year, around September, is when you meet that one person where you're trying to figure out what that is, or how much of it you're gonna try to sustain their support. Okay, but I would suggest making some shifts internally, getting realistic, and then putting yourself out there. Okay. All right. So. All right, Tasha. Tasha says, please would love a message. My dad and Nana both in my dream last night, wondering if they have a message. I think that they're wanting to prepare you, because this year there may be a few challenges that come up in the summertime, and they're kind of prepping you and just letting you know, hey, summer's going to be a little rough, so just hang in there. We love you, we're with you, we're trying to help and support you through this process. So that's one thing. Two, for some reason your dad is making peace with your mother, so I don't know if they had some miscommunication or misunderstandings, or they were not really getting along before he passed. But whenever I see the symbol for this, it usually means I'm either with this person, I've reconnected with this person, or I'm making peace with this person. And so what I would say is he might be trying to let your mother know, or to connect with your mom and talk about the making peace with her, or just acknowledging that he's with her. But he's referencing that or acknowledging that for her. He also sends you butterflies. So butterflies are a symbol from your father, letting you know that he's around you as well. Also, he may not have always been the most emotionally expressive person, and I think that's one thing that he's wanting to let you know, is that he loves you, period. So even though sometimes you may have felt like either he was busy, or he was doing some other things, or he was involved in other responsibilities, etc., he wants to let you know he's with you and he loves you, and I think that's an important message from him. Okay. Champagne. Hi, Fernando. I would love to get a reading in regards to see why I have been having a feeling of a spirit around me, presence, or what they are trying to tell me. Thank you. So here's the thing: when you are an energy sensitive, I mean, and everybody. First of all, just because people are like, oh, mediums are special or psychics are special, they have special powers, but no, we don't. Everybody is psychic, everybody's a medium. Everybody can do what I do. The only difference is when I sit at the piano, I can probably roll out a Mozart, concerto, instead of someone who just presses a few keys and makes a song. So that's the only difference. I've spent time practicing and understanding how to do this, and for the most part, I can really establish a connection and bring through some validation. It's the only difference. But if you want to understand how to do this yourself, which this is where I'm going to plug my class, so you guys can start taking that class, because it'll teach you guys. If you want to know how to do this yourself, go to my YouTube channel. I have a psychic development class there for free for those of you who want to learn how to do this, and actually understand what happens, how this works, etc. Because those are basics, things that you need to know and understand when it comes to dealing with psychic phenomena, spirits, etc. And it's free. I'm not asking you for anything. I just want you to go take the class so you educate yourself, and that way, I focus less time on helping people with the basics that they can already understand, and help them more on the specific, complicated things that you deal with once you really start to get into it. So that's what the class is all about. It's to help people like you and me who didn't know enough growing up, or were taught these things from our own family members or our own teachers. So we have a basis to work off of. Now, in your specific situation, you're probably attracting energies to you because you probably have a knack for connecting with spirit. Now, you may not understand that, you may not know how to deal with that, but that's something you probably dealt with since you were a kid. What I would suggest to you is I would suggest that you take the class, familiarize yourself with that, and then start to take responsibility for dealing with spiritual energy. Because just because people come to you doesn't mean that you have to help them or that you need to do anything for them. You could just tell them, hey, sorry, this is not something that I choose to do freely. You're going to have to find somebody else. And I think in your case, you've got several spirits who've been coming around or just trying to make themselves aware to you because they want your help. And I think that's pretty much what it is. And I think the person that you've been feeling the strongest is actually the brother of a friend or the brother of an associate. So someone's brother trying to come around just to kind of give you, hey, can you tell my sister? Or, hey, can you tell them this and this? So I think that's who's been coming around you. And I think they passed really tragically or suddenly from like an incident or an event. So I think that's probably who's been coming around you. But you've got several spirits that have been trying to connect with you or say hello to you. You need to learn how to deal with this so that way you can actually start to get more information. If you're going to deal with this, if you're going to choose this, if not, then that way you can just say, hey guys, I'm not interested in helping you. Please go to someone who can. Okay. Janie's like, how are my finances in dealing with my job? I'm not sure how you mean that question. What I will say is finances, I'm focused on finances anyways, right? I do think that your finances are going to change probably within the next 2 months because you might either be moving to a different job or you might be moving to a different position or different role. What's interesting is I feel that in the next 2 months, you might actually see a little bit of a dip happen where either your money may go down a little bit or you may see a little bit of a like a gap there. Normally, whenever I see a gap for someone, it means that they've stepped away from a job or they are not working for a little bit. So be careful, budget yourself because in the next couple of months, you might notice a little bit of a dip. But I see your money going up in June. So around June, you're going to see money going up or you're going to be earning more money than you currently earn. So I think that's a positive thing, but just budget yourself because whatever this dip is going to be in the next couple of months, I don't want you to be like, I wish I would have known to watch out my money or to watch out for things. And then, this happens and then you're like, oh crap. So just be careful. Okay. Any messages from my nephew Tony? So as soon as I tune into Tony's energy, I immediately see a vehicle or an automobile. I don't know if he's trying to acknowledge the way he passed or he's actually talking about a picture of him that people remember or that people use a lot of him with a vehicle next to a vehicle or next to his favorite vehicle because he keeps showing me a vehicle with him. So there's a reference to this. So he's acknowledging something about this vehicle. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a red vehicle because I'm seeing a red colored vehicle. So he's referencing this. So either this has something to do with his passing or he's acknowledging this picture or this visual of him with this vehicle that's significant or means something to him. He also keeps showing me hats, so I think that he either collected hats or people really remember him because of his caps or hats, because he's acknowledging these caps or these hats. He also keeps acknowledging having two events, so either there was two separate memorial events for him or they had to kind of do it 2 days in a row because of all the things that happened when this occurred, because he keeps talking about the first day was supposed to be the only day, but there was another day or there was a second day, so he's acknowledging some sort of like add-on to his memorial service, or there being like more than one event, because he's making me aware of that as well. Okay. He also keeps acknowledging. There's also show me a roller coaster. There's a this might be for one of his siblings or for his the people that he considers to be brother or sister, but he's acknowledging like someone, and then he's showing me a picture on a roller coaster or like on a ride and making a funny face, so he's acknowledging that as well. So that's another thing he's wanting to show or relate to that people may bring up or talk about. Okay, but he's all right, he's at peace, but I think he's just wanting to acknowledge some of these things. It's weird because the way he makes me feel is he was surprised at how many people cared about him or how many people actually loved him, and it's almost like a surprise there, which I'm not sure why he would be surprised, but he comes across as like, wow, like I wasn't expecting this or I wasn't anticipating all of that. Okay. Luna has a question. Hi, Fernando. Do you see me getting into a relationship soon? I see two, maybe three opportunities this year for dating. And when I say dating, I mean like meeting somebody, getting to know somebody, spending some time with each other. I'm not seeing a relationship for you right now. I'm actually not seeing a relationship for you for about 2 or 2.5 years. So it might take a while before you get into something serious. The person that you get into a relationship at that time, they may already be in your life next year, but you may not either let them in or may take a while before it's able to become something serious. But I do think that in 2.5 years, you'll be in a serious relationship. But for the next like this year, there'll be like two or three opportunities where you can connect and maybe date and kind of warm up, get yourself acclimated to that. Okay. Valerie has a question. Valerie, trying to read this. Ferdy, do you feel like your gift is God given? Um, I feel like everything in the universe is God given. Nothing happens without God's permission. Period. I believe that God, and see, this is where it gets complicated and tricky because my idea of God, my awareness of God is just so much more profound and deeper than when I was growing up and was just raised Catholic. You know, I was raised in a Catholic environment, and so I only saw God and thought of God in that way from those glasses, those Catholic glasses that I was wearing. As I've gotten older, my awareness, my understanding of God is so much grander, so much bigger. It's like for me, being Catholic was like having a nice little garden. Everything was really pretty, and you had these ideas. Oh, how pretty, how pretty, how pretty. Now, with all the experiences that I've had and all that I've learned, for me, it's almost like stepping out into this massive valley and meadow where everything is green, everything is lush, everything is beautiful, and I'm like, holy crap! Here I am thinking that all this beautiful little garden was the grand, oh my gosh, and here I am looking at this massive, awe-inspiring vista. That's the difference between what I believed in before, how I felt before, and what I feel now. Nothing happens in the universe without God's permission, period. So if something is happening or something is going on, there's a deeper, profound reason why it is happening, and you owe it to yourself to try to understand why. So if I'm able to do this, then I trust and believe and have faith that this is coming from a higher place, from a place of purpose, a place of meaning, and I have faith. That's where my faith comes in. A lot of people were like, well, you shouldn't do this because it says this in the Bible. You shouldn't do that because it says this in the Bible. There's a lot of things you shouldn't do because it says it in the Bible. But a lot of people do not actually understand biblical theology. They don't understand what's in the book. They're only regurgitating because they're coming from a place of fear, a place of worry, a place of concern, and they want to control everybody else so that they're not scared anymore. I would implore you to do your own research, find out for yourself what really is the truth in the world, what is real, and if you are okay with what I'm doing, great, then I'm willing to help you. If you're not okay with what I'm doing, then you don't have to follow me. You don't have to like me on YouTube. You don't have to like me at all. You can just block me, and that's it. Don't subject yourself to your own fears and your own anxieties about this. This is not something you're comfortable with. But for me, I believe this comes from a higher place. Okay. Hi, Fernando. Do you have a message for my husband, Hank? Yeah, so what's interesting is he showed me a belt or a belt buckle. So I don't know if he likes to collect belts or belt buckles, or there's something about his belt being special. But what's interesting is it almost feels like a collection, meaning that there might be more than one, or there might be these pieces of metal that were significant or that were part of a collection for him, because he's acknowledging these little things, so he's acknowledging that. So he's referencing that to me. So his belt or his belt buckle might be important or might be significant for him. He also keeps acknowledging being with the two other men that he is related to or connected to. So I would assume this is either his father and his brother, but he's referencing two men being there. So there's an acknowledgement that for that as well. He also wants to let you know that he's the one that showed up in the middle of the night or was trying to wake you up from your sleep. So you might have like suddenly woken up or felt like somebody was in the room with you. He says that it was him, like he was just trying to say hello, trying to acknowledge for you that he was there, he was with you, and that he was going to continue to be with you. He also keeps acknowledging, I don't know if there's a handkerchief or there's patches of a blanket, because he's showing me like a piece of fabric or a piece of, I don't know if this is paisley or this is some sort of piece of fabric or piece of something, but he's acknowledging like either a handkerchief or a piece of fabric that reminds me of like patches from a blanket. That would also be significant as well. So he's just making reference to that. Also, there's a baby, he's just talking away. There's a baby that's with him because he's acknowledging a baby's energy. So he's acknowledging that a child either was miscarried, lost, or terminated, or that there's a child that's been born since passing that he's wanting to acknowledge, but he's making that gesture of baby. So he's referencing that to some extent. Okay. Luna. I think I already answered your question, Luna, but I'll answer your next one. Sorry, guys, they'll be mad at me. I'm gonna read it real fast. I'll do it real fast, guys. So just give me a second. A friend contacted me recently about a new job. I've sent my resume. Do you think I'll be getting this job? Will it be a better opportunity for me? I do think that you'll have an opportunity to take the job, meaning that you might actually be given an offer because I think you will have an interview. However, I think you're going to end up either not going with it or you might decide to not take it because there may be some things about it that just do not match up to what you currently have and you're kind of better off with what you've got in your plate right now. So I think that you're probably going to end up turning down the job just because of some of the details or some of the things in regards to it. But I mean, if it works for you, take the damn job. I mean, you don't have to hold back or stand back just because I'm saying so. But I get a feeling you're going to not take it. You're going to hold back. Um, Carla has a question. I keep dreaming that I'm searching for my mom but can't find her. Is she around me? Okay, so I don't think the dream actually has anything to do with your mom per se. I think what's going on is I think that you are wanting to feel the sense of nurturing in your life, meaning that in your life right now, got something flying in the air. And I think in your life right now, you feel like either you haven't, you're not surrounded by people who are nurturing you or supporting you, or you're not nurturing or supporting yourself. And I think you would like to feel a sense of what usually you feel with your mom. I mean, I remember times with my mom, you know, she'd be in the kitchen cooking and I could smell her food and just having her there and making me some goodies. I mean, that was just such a loving experience for me. So I think there are experiences you may have had with your mom where sometimes you desire to feel that in your life. And right now you might be going through a bit of a deficit where you're not feeling some of those things. So the dream of you looking for her doesn't really have to do with you looking for your mom per se, because I think your mom's with you. But I think the dream that you're having is your psyche telling you that you're trying to find situations, people, experiences that are nurturing for you. You want to feel nurtured. You want to feel loved. You want to feel taken care of, like someone cares about you and someone wants to take care of you. And I think that's what you're looking for, and that's what you're desiring, and that's what your dream is about. Okay. Benilde. I think that's how you say it, Benilde. My dad passed away almost 4 years ago, and it's been very hard for my sister and I. Is he proud of me despite what's going on in my life? Yeah. So what's interesting about your dad? First of all, he does love you. He wants to send his love to you and your sister. He also wants to apologize for not being here, either because he was expecting to be here or he was expecting to have more time. And I feel like things just kind of caught up with him and that was it. So he's just wanting to bring that to your attention or acknowledge that for you. He does show me a ring, but I feel like he's showing it to me twice, which means either there are two rings that are significant or special in regards to dad, or there's two pieces of jewelry that are significant and connected to dad that he wants to bring up as well. He also keeps acknowledging, first of all, he showed me birthday balloons. So usually when I see birthday balloons, it means there's a birthday going on right around now, within 30 days, right around now, or there's something about his birthday and his passing, the birthday or someone's birthday and his passing that he's bringing up for me as well. So there's one or the other. He also keeps acknowledging. What's interesting is I almost keep seeing two vehicles. So I don't know if there have been two vehicle changes since his passing, or if there was two vehicles for him and you guys have had to deal with that. But he showed me two vehicles. He's wanting to bring up something about that. He also keeps acknowledging that he loves you no matter what, and he hopes that you can forgive him for not being able to help you as much as he wanted to. So I don't know if he wanted to financially help you guys or leave you with more, but he's almost like wishing and wanted to help you more in that way. Because I feel like he's the kind of person where if you need something, he'll give you the money or he'll help you out. And I feel like that's just who he is. And I feel like he wishes he would have left more, he would have done more to prepare you guys for his passing or the loss as well. So he's acknowledging that for you guys. He loves you guys. He's with you guys. So he's proud of you, not because of what you've achieved or what you've accomplished, but because of the person that you are. And I think that's what you need to remember. You need to focus on that. Okay. Kin, Kiniara. I hope I said it right. Any new job in the future? You might have something come up around summertime, maybe around July. I don't think it's going to work out for you though. I wouldn't say maybe February of next year. You might end up with something else altogether. I keep seeing museums in my mind, and I keep seeing the Manel, which is this museum in Houston. So whenever I see that, it usually means some sort of either promotional advertising or representing or like letting people see something in a certain way. So I wouldn't be surprised if you find yourself getting involved in work that has to do with like promotional advertising, marketing, or even has to do with some sort of museum in that way. Because I'm seeing that. So it's usually like either art or there's something there that you might find yourself getting into in that time frame. Okay. Okay, Sarah gave me her dream. She yeah, shows up. Okay. So what does it say? So hi. So in my dream, I am watching somebody's child that my husband and I took over responsibility for, and the whole main feeling of the dream is that the parent was not fit, and so I felt responsible and longed for this child and took them in. I've had a lot of dreams lately with this message and was curious if it had any significance in my life since we do not since what? Since we do not decide to have children for a while. So I actually don't think this has anything to do with children. I think what this means is I think that in life, you are seeing others go after what they want to do or what they want to create for themselves. I think you're seeing others try and not doing a good job of it. And I feel like you're like, when are we, when am I going to get my opportunity to achieve my goals or to do what I want to do? And I think part of this is because you know that if you're given those same opportunities or you have the same rights or the same privileges, you would actually do much better for it. So I think this is actually you seeing others who are wasting opportunities or not taking advantage of what they have or what they've been given, and you desiring to have the same thing. So I actually think this has more to do with career than it has to do with an actual baby or child. And so I think that's what that means. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but sometimes when you dream about having a baby or dream about being pregnant, it means because you're going to birth something new into the world or because you've created something and it's your baby, it's your child. For me, my business is my baby, and I spent a lot of time growing, developing, nurturing that so that it could become something more mature. And so for you, if there's something that you're seeing others have or seeing others experience and they're not making the best of it or they're wasting those opportunities, and those are opportunities that you wish you had because giving those opportunities, you would do much better with them. That's what I think the dream meant. Okay. I'm going to answer just a couple more, guys, and then that is it. Let's see. Here's another dream. Camila. Hi, Fernie. I often dream that I'm in school and I don't have a schedule. I forget where my locker is. Then I always find the restrooms broken or filthy and flood with clear water. It's been recurring type of dream for years. What do these dreams mean? So first of all, what school always represents your life, okay? Because we're here in a school environment. We're learning new things, we're understanding new things, we're growing and developing. So a school in a dream usually doesn't mean a physical school, it means life. So in your life, you don't have a schedule, which means you might have wanted to achieve certain things, or there are certain things that maybe you were trying to achieve by a certain amount of time. But in your life, there really isn't a set time for when things are going to happen. You kind of just need to live your life and let things evolve as they're going to. So it's kind of life trying to tell you, stop. You don't have a schedule. You're not supposed to achieve things when you think you're supposed to achieve things. Stop being so hard on yourself. Stop giving yourself so much of a hard time. Stop letting yourself get down on yourself because you're measuring up. You're trying measuring yourself. Or you're trying to compare yourself to everybody else. So stop that because you're too hard on yourself. The restrooms being broken. What is a restroom? A restroom is a place where you go and you express yourself and you vent, or you release toxicity. You release something that you're not meant to hold on to. In your life, you may not be expressing yourself fully. You may not be sharing or talking to others, or telling them the things that you need to tell them. You may not be releasing some of that internal toxicity that you've held on to for all these years. So in your life, you're not set on a specific schedule. So just get over it and just go with the flow. Stop trying to control things and start expressing yourself and telling others what you need instead of absorbing it and soaking it all up, because it's only going to cause you to feel more and more and more like, just resentful, angry, etc. So I think this is a dream to help you release some of your anger and resentment in life. And I think that they're trying to explain this to you. They're trying to help you understand what it is that you need to become peaceful with. Okay? So I think that's what your dream's about. One more, guys. Jen, do you see me in a relationship soon? I see you in 2 relationships soon. I think that probably within the next 2.5 months, you might get involved with somebody, but it's a real short term. I mean, like, don't order China, don't order silverware, because it's probably not going to lead to something long term. So in the next couple of months, there's something that comes up for you that I think is a good opportunity to, just warm up and get yourself warm and toasty. And then I think towards the end of this year, around November, there's another opportunity for a relationship, but that may actually be with someone from your past or an ex. So you got to be careful, because if it's not something you really want to throw a lot of energy into, then you can probably avoid it altogether. But towards the end of the year, there might be an opportunity to reconnect with someone that you either are not over with, or that may pop back into your life. Okay, guys, tune into my podcast tomorrow. If you don't know where my podcast is, you can go to my website, fernandomarone.com. I also I didn't provide a link. I'm just crazy, but I offer the different links for the different places to find my podcast on my website. You can also go to my Facebook Live page, or my Facebook page, my professional page, and it's on there as well. If you want to book a session with me, guys, just go to my website, www.fernandomarone.com. If you want to follow me on Instagram, if you want to follow me on Twitter, on these other websites, that would be great. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you guys, and I will talk to you next week. Okay? Bye-bye.